Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. Today we're going to talk about how to actually clean your firearms. So for the purposes of this video, I have a Glock 19 right here, and I also do have an Hk Vp9, just so that way I can kind of go over the two different takedowns and kind of show you that even though you might not have an Hk Vp9 or a Glock 19, how to take these things apart. For the most part, also I know that Walthers do come apart about the same way as the Vp9. My Sig 229 comes apart the same way. They kind of have this little lever that you have to move up and down. And then all Glocks, whether it's a Glock 19, a Glock 34, a Glock 43, they're all going to come apart the same way. So that's what we're here to talk about. All right, so before we get started, you need to have gun cleaning supplies as well. Some of the stuff that I really like to get is just going to CVS and getting this large box of Q-tips. It definitely works out. It's very cheap. It helps cleaning stuff. And then I personally like to get this Pro Shot gun cleaning patches. It's a 500 count, 3-inch squares for 12 gauge shotgun. It will still go through the actual barrel when I slide it through with the cleaning rod right here. And then you can also get a bore brush like this. This isn't caliber specific to the 9mm. They do have them in 9 and 380 and 45, whatever the caliber it is that you get. I for some reason cannot find the 9mm. So this is actually for a 223-556 rifle. And then a brush. So there are steel brushes, nylon brushes that you can get. They do cost a little bit more. I like going to the 99-cent store and getting as many of these as I possibly can. I use them maybe 2-3 times, and then I throw them out. And they're a lot more cost efficient than getting the actual gun specific ones. I probably used this one to clean my gun maybe 4 or 5 times. These Brussels, they were white, and now they're black and just gunky and pretty stiff. And now if I just try to use it to clean off anything, it's really making it more dirty than actually cleaning stuff off. So I just kind of keep this to not have things rolling around in this kit that I have here. I also have this little pick, if you can see it. So it's a little pick right up here, and then it's a very small, like a mini flathead type of thing that I like to use. It came also in the Cabela's 223-556 cleaning kit here. And then finally, you have your gun cleaner. I personally do like the Hops Black, the Hops 9 Black. It really cuts through the carbon buildup very, very easily. And then I do personally also like the Lucas gun oil. I like it. It's got a very high viscosity level. It lasts for quite a long time. It's rated for really hot operating temperatures and also really low. I also do like that it comes with this needle nose applicator so that I can put the oil exactly where it is that I want it. I do also like the Lucas gun cleaner, but this is a pressurized can. It's also self-drying. I will use this if my gun is extremely dirty. I also really like using this to clean my AR rifles, but not really for handguns. If you do end up using something like this, I would recommend not having anything that you mind getting dirty, because again, it is going to come out with a good amount of force, and there's just going to be a lot of splatter all over the place. So it'll get on your hands, it'll get on your clothes. I do recommend you maybe wearing eye protection for it. I know that the first time that I used this a few years ago, I was holding the gun pretty far away and it still managed to get on my cheeks and stuff like that. So excellent product, just the cost is pretty high compared to the spray here that I get to use, and you're gonna go through this a heck of a lot quicker than you would the Hops Black 9 spray or any other spray. There are some cleaning products such as CLP. It cleans, it lubricates, and it protects. It's a one-stop and done type of thing. I believe Ballistol is one of them. I've got a friend who just got into shooting and he really, really likes that stuff. But to me, I prefer having something specific. So this is the gun cleaner. This is going to cut through carbon buildup much easier, and it's going to prevent me from having to have steel or any of the other types of very rough brushes that are out there. So I like using this, and then I like having a specific gun oil that's engineered specifically to operate in high and very low temperatures. I kind of associate it with taking a shower, right? There's certainly products out there that you can use to wash your hair, to condition your hair, and also use as a body wash, but not a lot of us use that. A lot of us have a soap, a conditioner, and then a body wash. So that's kind of how I look at this. All right, so you've come back from the range and it's time to clean your gun. I do recommend cleaning your gun every single time, after every single time that you shoot it. Doesn't matter if you shot just one magazine through it or if you shot 500 rounds through it. I recommend cleaning it every single time. Reason why: you don't know when the next time is that you're going to go to the range, and you don't know how many rounds you're going to shoot that next time that you're going to go to the range, and you don't want to be the type of individual that takes a course and you don't recall when was the last time you shot, you don't know how many rounds you shot, and now your gun starts jamming up on you in the middle of the class and you have to take 15-20 minutes to go out and to clean it. And that way I don't get into that habit of, well, I shot only 10 rounds because I live in California. I only shot 10 rounds through this, or I only shot 20 rounds through this, I don't need to clean it. And then the next time or next thing I know, oh, I've only shot 50 rounds through it. Or, oh, I've only shot 100 rounds through it. I don't need to clean it. All right, so when you get to your house, you've got all your products out, you're ready to start cleaning your gun. This gun is empty. I actually loaded up the magazine beforehand. I put it off to the side. It's not here, so gun is empty. I'll show you guys. All right. So on Glocks, they are a little different. They do have these little tabs right here that I'm hoping you guys can see, and it's on both sides. You're gonna have to press down on that. So making sure that the gun is clear, I'm gonna pull back just slightly. Okay, you can tell it's a little bit out of battery. And then I'm gonna pull down on both sides right here. And then I'm gonna pull the trigger and the slide will come off. Okay. Go ahead and take out your recoil spring, and then your barrel can come out, and then you've got your slide. So now you've got 4 pieces. For a lot of the other handguns out there, it's going to be a little notch that you either have to rotate up or you have to rotate down. So pull back on the slide, lock it to the rear. If I was to have a magazine, if I didn't drop this magazine, I can't move this. There's some type of lock internally. I'm not a gun engineer, so I can't go into that specifics, but you do have to drop your mag. The slide also has to be to the rear. If it wasn't to the rear, I also can't move this any further. As you can see, it actually locks up and I can't move it any further. So you do have to lock the slide to the rear, then either up or down. I know with Walthers, like the Walther Q4, for example, and probably the other PPQ models, it's an upward movement, but it can only go one way. So here it's down. I'm going to release the slide, pull the trigger, and again, the slide comes off of the frame. And just like with the Glock, you've got your recoil spring, and then you've got access to your barrel and your slide. All right, guys, so I'm gonna start off with cleaning the Hk Vp9. This is the gun that I most recently shot. I haven't really had to shoot the Glock 19, so that's pretty clean for now. So when you take the gun apart, you should have already oiled it, right, before you went to the range. So before I spray any part of the gun down with the carbon cleaner, in this case the Hops 9 Black, I'm going to take my Q-tips, and then on the inside of the slide, there's going to be rails all along there. I'm going to take my Q-tip and I'm just going to run it on the inside, and then turn it around, run it again, turn it around, maybe to try to get as much of the oil off before I start spraying the gun down, and to get any gunpowder residue. So you can see I only shot maybe 20-30 rounds through this gun, so it's not that dirty. I actually had another gun that I shot, and I absolutely had to clean that when I got home the other day. Couldn't leave it dirty, so that one's already clean, but I'm gonna go ahead and run this on both sides, inside the slide, trying to get it in those rails as much as I possibly can, and then just use the rest of it to go over any surfaces of the gun where there's oil and there might be some gunpowder residue. Okay, so then I'll just wipe it down as much as I possibly can before applying any of the carbon cleaner. So once I've done that, I'll go ahead and spray the inside down. Get in there. I'll let that sit for a little bit. I'll also spray the barrel. I'll spray the opening part and the chamber. This is the chamber of the barrel right here, and then this is your barrel. So I'll spray that, kind of rotate it, make sure that I get a good amount of product in here. And then I just kind of let it sit and let it do its thing. I'll then go ahead and, with one of these patches, that are really meant for 12 gauge, I'll start just wiping this down. Wiping down the frame, the internal parts of the frame, as much as I possibly can. Inside the magazine well. Not too rough, but applying light amounts of pressure. Push up on the slide release if you can. It kind of gives way a little bit to the internal mag well, or the internal area of where the magazine sits, I should say. Mag well is down here. And yeah, I'm just trying to get as much of the oil that was there before I spray it down off. And it just helps with cleaning and not making that much of a mess once I do spray it down. Now on the rails of the frame as well, I'll use a Q-tip to go in there and wipe that stuff off as much as I possibly can. Let's see here. Do that. Wipe that off. And I'm really looking for any areas that have oil. If there's an area that has oil, then most likely it's going to have a little bit of gunpowder residue, which needs to come off. So that looks pretty good. Don't really do that much more with the frame of the gun. All right, so now I'll grab some more Q-tips. Get that. Get my brush, and I start just brushing everything in here. Kind of helps loosen up any more gunpowder residue, any gun oil that maybe I didn't get the first time around. So I do that. I come here, give this a quick little brush. And because I clean my gun every single time that I go to the range, this doesn't take a very long time. It's not very hard. I don't have to have these metal brushes, these whether it's brass or nylon brushes. I can just have a standard brush to help clean. So then I'll just wipe this down as much as I possibly can on the inside. You can also use a microfiber cloth if you want. I do have that, but I use that at the very end. Alright. And then I like coming in here, getting as much of this off as possible. Q-tip, I'm gonna run it by again. And I'm gonna keep doing this until I see that it's basically coming back clean, that there's not much there, which happens to be the case right now. All right, and then I will get one of these patches. I'll start working on the barrel. So if you can see, there's one part that's kind of shiny right here, the ramp coming up into the chamber of the barrel. That was pretty black, and now you can see its true color, its polished look, if you will. All right, and then with the rod here, I'll just push it straight through, turn it around, push it through. If you have an actual chamber specific brush, this is where you would use it. You would put the chamber specific brush. In this case, this is not it, so I'm not gonna actually do it, but you'd put it in there and you'd run it in and out. This often can be screwed on your guide rod here, if you will, and then you can just feed it in a couple times. It'll help loosen any carbon foul up, but also because I allowed the carbon cleaner to sit there for a little bit, it helped break apart whatever carbon buildup was in there and makes it a lot easier. So then I'll just run a couple more of these patches through there before I'll actually spray one down. That's what's coming back pretty clean. So in this case, with this coming back as clean as it did, carbon cleaner, spray down the whole surface of it, and I'll run it through the barrel. Now this one I'll run a couple more times. And I'll do it a couple more times because I've already ran a couple patches through there and it's coming back pretty clean. If it comes back pretty dirty, I would say use another patch or use the other side of the patch. If you rerun that dirty patch, then you're just redepositing some of that grime in there. All right, so like I said, I'll run a couple patches through there. Once it's coming clean, you're good to go on that. Some companies do offer a copper type of cleaner. I haven't had a lot of experience with it. I haven't had to use it a whole lot. So because some companies do offer it and some other companies don't, I've just chosen not to, and I've never had any problems with my accuracy or with any of the barrels that I don't use it through. All right, so once I've cleaned everything off, I'll try to dry it off a little bit with this microfiber towel. Wipe it all down. So this is all nice and clean. And then it is ready for the oil. So again, I really like that it comes with this needle nose plier. I'll go ahead and put it just on the rails on the inside. You'll see the cutouts. I'll put a couple drops in there on one side, put a couple drops on the other side, and then I'll just let it, I'll stand it up like this, and I'll let those drops run all the way down the rails. Might also put a little bit, like one drop up here and one drop back here. With this, I'll just move it over, spread it out. And then once those drops have made their way all the way down the rails, put a little bit more just to hurry this up. Once it's all the way down, you can then reassemble your firearm, put your barrel inside your slide, your guide rod goes on top. Now when you put it on, you will have to use your thumb or your forefinger to compress it and have it basically lock into place. Okay, so it should lock into place underneath the barrel of the gun to the point where it doesn't fall off by itself. If you don't properly put it on there, then it's going to fall off because there's no, it's not under tension, if you will. Grab your gun, line up your slide to the frame, lock the slide to the rear for a gun like this, and then simply rotate in the opposite direction that lever, and then you can do your function check. So comes up, all right, so putting back together the Glock, much the same way. Let's move all of this out of the way. Take my barrel, take my slide, drop it in, recoil spring. See, if I don't actually place it under tension, it's gonna look like this, and when I flip it over, it simply falls off. So you're going to put this under tension underneath the barrel, like so, and slide it in. You might have to press down when you get to, well, actually I already put it on. All right, you might have to press down when putting your slide on to go into this back part. So push down on it, that lines up the rails. Basic function test. Everything seems to be working. All right, guys, so that's about it. Pretty basic, pretty simple. Wanted to keep it short, but something tells me that this video did go a little bit longer than I wanted to. Hopefully that was helpful to you. If you like it, please hit the likes button, comment, subscribe, stay tuned for the next one. And if you didn't like it, oh well. Take care.